Y'all come along with me as I hike up at Warwoman Dell. Now, like I said, I am at Warwoman Dell in Clayton, Georgia. And I'm hiking the Warwoman Dell Nature Trail. Now, Warwoman Dell is a very popular place because the Bartram Trail cuts right through it. And many people come up here and park at Warwoman Dell to get on the Bartram Trail. But there is an actual nature trail here that a lot of people don't know about. But it's here. Just a short little trail here inside Warwoman Dell. And that's what I'm hiking today. Just a little short loop. It's got a waterfall on it and some other cool things. I've been to Warwoman Dell many times over the years because Clayton here is my hometown. It's where I grew up. And used to hang out a lot here back in my teenage years with friends and whatnot. So, been here many times. But I thought I'd hike this trail because, like I said, a lot of people don't even know it's here. Well, here I've made it to the little waterfall I was talking about. And it's just a small one, probably 10 feet tall or whatever. But still a beautiful little waterfall and worth checking out. This is not far into the trail at all, probably about a quarter of a mile. Very slick in here this morning. It rained yesterday and last night and got everything good and slick, so having to watch my step so I don't bust my butt. But I'm gonna head on down the trail now. Now once you leave the waterfall, you'll come back up the trail here to the split. Now I came to the waterfall from the left-hand side here. So I want to go back to the right on this section of trail, which will take me back down to the Warwoman Dell parking area. But this trail goes right along the creek here from the waterfall. As you can see, after all the rain we had yesterday and last night, everything is super green this morning. The birds are really chirping. As you come back down from that waterfall, you cross this bridge here over the creek. It comes back out to a picnic area here, and there's a covered pavilion down there where people do a lot of family reunions and so forth. It was built by the CCC back in the 30s, as everything else here in Warwoman Dell was built by the CCC. It's a beautiful pavilion with some nice stone grills built in there. I'm not going to go in there and film today because there's some people in there having a get together. I don't want to go in there filming and be rude. But there's also a sign down there that tells you why they call this place Warwoman. The Cherokee had meetings back in the day in their time, and there was a woman that they called the Warwoman who presided over those meetings, and she's supposedly a very beautiful woman. And from reading on what the sign says, they didn't make any kind of decisions unless they had the Warwoman's approval. But anyway, that's why they call this area here Warwoman. But there's a lot of Native American history here. There's a lot of just history in general. With the Blue Ridge Railroad that was going to come through here that never happened, which I'll talk about that more later. But I'm going to get on down the trail now. Now here the trail comes back out, and up the hill to the right there is the Bartram Trail. This is where I was talking about. The Bartram Trail comes through Warwoman Dell. But it comes right down the mountain there and cuts through the park here. And you actually have to walk down the road and get back on it to head on north. But the nature trail continues on this way, and this is actually the old Blue Ridge Railroad bed down through here. And there's a sign here sort of telling you a little bit of the history, but this is the old Blue Ridge Railroad bed, and the nature trail goes down it. But this is a railroad that they started constructing before the Civil War, and when the war broke out, they stopped. It was never completed, and when the war was over, they never started back on the construction of it. They just left everything. But for y'all that are familiar with the Stump House Mountain Tunnel over in Walhalla, South Carolina, well, that tunnel is part of the same railroad that would have came through here going to I think Knoxville, Tennessee. I think that's where the proposed route was supposed to go. But like I said, Civil War broke out and it was never completed and never started back on the construction. But there's some tunnels around, like the Stump House Mountain Tunnel. Some of the tunnels are on private property, but you can still find old relics from that railroad if you get out and look, just like this right here. But I'm going to continue on down the trail as it cuts down the old railroad bed. The trail goes and continues on down through here, through the rhododendron tunnels. Good and shady and cool. This is still continuing down the old Blue Ridge Railroad cut. Good bit of deadfall along this section to step over. Nothing too serious. Just gotta watch these slick roots after this rain, so you don't fall down. Now the trail comes right down through there and then makes a hard left right here. It starts going back toward the Warwoman Dell area. So now I came down off of the old railroad cut and on the return trail that takes you back to the parking area and all at the Dell. And you can hear those cars. That's Warwoman Road right there below me. That's where all the traffic noise is coming from. Now here's something cool you can check out at Warwoman Dell. This is a stone culvert. Now the railroad bed is up there, up on top of the hill. And they designed this railroad in 1854. But the culverts along here were built out of stone. And if you look through there, you can still see all the way through there to the other end. It's still open. But this is a stone culvert that was built back in the 1800s that's still functioning to this day. So that's something cool to check out when you're at Warwoman Dell. And I don't know about y'all, but I believe that picnic table may have been there for a while. Now here the trail comes out right alongside the creek. And there's another parking area here. But here's another structure that was built by the CCC back in the 30s. You can see it's still standing. But, we've got some picnic tables here. But the structures are pretty cool. Got a big old fireplace inside. All the rock work again showing the level of craftsmanship those CCC boys had back in the 30s, and it's still standing. Pretty cool. Now the trail turns and goes up these 66 stone steps. There's a sign back there that tells you that they don't know if these steps were constructed when the railroad was going through here back in the 1800s or if the CCC boys constructed it back in the 1930s. They're not sure. But anyway, these steps go back up to the railroad bed on the trail I was hiking on earlier. And when you get up to the top of the steps, you come back into the old railroad bed right in front of a wet weather spring waterfall. I'm sure during dry weather this wouldn't be flowing, but pops you out right back here. Now I came down through here earlier because the trail comes down through there when you start this hike. I didn't film through here because there was a bunch of people here with little kids playing in this water. But you can look down through here at the old railroad cut. This is the actual cut where they came through the hill here. And you can only imagine what kind of work was involved in that. Because you gotta remember, all they had was manpower and mule power. Most of these old railroads, they used mules with a drag pan behind them, and of course shovels and picks and dynamite to do all this. So you can only imagine the work involved. But this is a beautiful section of trail, the way it comes down through this old railroad cut. Like I said, I came down through here earlier because this trail comes down, makes that loop, and then comes back up steps and comes back into this section. So now I'm going to walk back straight ahead in the direction I came. Another shot of the wet weather waterfall there. Now here's something else cool that's here at Warwoman Dell. These old stone structures here look like some kind of vats. These are actually trout rearing stations that were constructed by the CCC. Like I said earlier, everything here at Warwoman Dell was built by the CCC in the 1930s, like between 1933 and 1937. But they actually raised trout here and hiked them in to the rivers and streams around here. And they said that they hiked them in by, they had a special backpack that they filled with water and put the fish in the backpack in the water and hiked them to the rivers and stuff around here. Now you can only imagine what a tough individual you had to be to hike some of this rugged mountain country with a backpack full of water and fish, carrying it. I mean, it's hard enough hiking around here with a regular backpack with your gear in it, much less a backpack full of water with fish swimming around in it. But this is just another cool thing here at Warwoman Dell that was built by the CCC back in the day. Just another neat part of history. And right here on the right is the Bartram Trail, where it continues on north. The Bartram Trail is over 100 miles long total. It starts at the Georgia-South Carolina border over on Highway 28 north of Mountain Rest, South Carolina, and it comes through here and goes all the way into North Carolina. But it supposedly follows the footsteps of William Bartram, who was a botanist back in the 1700s, who came over here from England to document native plants and so forth. But it's a beautiful trail. I've hiked a lot of sections of it. Lots of beautiful waterfalls on it, and then beautiful views as you get on further north. But awesome trail. But I'm going to continue on up the road here to the parking area. Well, I made it back down to the parking area. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Thought I'd take everybody along for a little short hike. Only about a 2-mile hike round trip, so not very long. But it's got some beautiful scenery along the way. Anyway, I hope all y'all had an absolutely wonderful weekend. And thanks for coming along with me.